In this session, we're going to go through all the considerations that you need to think about in relationship to producing your online event. When you design a large in-person event, much thought is often given not only to the content that is delivered from the stage in the main plenaries, but also to the design of the stage and the main auditorium. Also critical is the decor, flow, and hospitality from registration through the main sessions, the breakout seminars, the layout and the movement flow of attendees moving from main session to the exhibition hall, let's say, and finally, the time and the spacing between sessions. All of this process, along with thousands of other considerations unique to your organization, takes time and consideration. The bottom line is the way that the event is designed communicates to attendees their value and the value of the experience. Design gives us the opportunity and the ability to create the correct emotion and feeling needed to highlight the importance of the content that is being communicated in your event. Now, similar motivations must guide the approach to designing an online event. An amazing brand contained with killer design, implemented with a highly intuitive user experience, will create the difference between a good and a great event. Creating this wow factor, as we like to call it, is something that will create that difference. Your audience is typically part of your tribe. They've come to your URL to experience your event. Now, while your audience could experience your broadcast within the context of a social media platform or even a cookie-cutter platform, in such scenarios, often the platform itself becomes a dominant part of the experience. You are in essence meeting in, say, Facebook's building rather than your own. Now, those of the utilitarian mindset may not care for this design aspect, yet I believe, and all of us at the Sardius team believe, that it's important to think about the following components in a similar way to the way that you would consider the component parts of an in-person event. Considering the video, the user interface, which we call the UI, which is typically more about the design aspect, the user experience, or UX, which is typically more about the functionality of the platform, as well as the timing of the overall presentation that altogether determines the quality and the wow factor of your event. Now, Sardius can adopt a number of approaches when it comes to design and UI and the whole graphic design process. The first approach that we take is that we do everything. Sardius always provides the user experience functionality related to how the event works, and we can also offer professional design services, which can be limited to simply the user interface of the main watch experience, but could also be extended to creating a unique brand guide with logos, graphical assets, motion graphic assets to avoid the workload for many busy design departments, or create a unique interface for smaller organizations that may or may not have a design department. Approach 2 is that you rely for graphic design on your tried and tested in-house designers or design agency. We are very intimately aware of the visceral effect of design and how much brand and design matter to design teams and agencies of so many of the larger organizations that we work with. Outsourcing design to a new company for what may be a large communication opportunity for your organization may not be the road that you want to travel at this particular time. And that's perfectly fine. In such situations, Sardius provides your design team with the different wireframe templates and options and previous examples of event layouts and user experiences that have been successful in our experience, and invite your design team to dream about what your brand would look like in the most optimal situation, often creating a flat design that then our team brings to life. The third approach is a more modular approach for perhaps more budget-minded clients. For those more conscious of time and budget, there are also more modular approaches that we can offer in this situation, giving you dimensions of some of the design elements that are needed to be populated for an event. In this case, it will still feel like you, customized, as you will be responsible for colors, images, and design elements. However, it is a stripped down approach. A list of design elements that you need to provide will be given to you by your event manager. Regardless of how the user interface is created, there are many design type elements that you will need to provide to our project management team that will be used to build the event out, and your event manager will provide you with that list. Coupled with an excellently designed user interface, which effectively communicates your brand, is the schedule and structure of the event, and considerations of when to present certain components of the event. Now, we take the approach that an effective online event is not a static web page with a library of video and other information that the attendee gets to navigate through on their own time, although there is a time and a place for this type of experience, and a component of it may even be part of your live event. But rather, an effective online event, in much the same way as an in-person event, is a shared experience of different event sessions that are served to the attendees in real time in much the same way that an in-person event happens. Most events consist of main plenary sessions, breakout seminar tracks, and other type meetings. These sessions form the backbone of the event in terms of content delivery. Therefore, it's important to consider a number of factors in delivering the most optimal experience for your attendees. The run sheet or stage and content order. Before considering anything technical, one of the most important tasks you as the event producer will have to undertake is developing your event run sheet. This will require you to think through your overall event purpose and metrics, what you're trying to achieve in different parts of the event, and how do you want to structure the communications and the content flow of the event to achieve those goals. Now, traditional in-person entertainment will often build towards the best entertainer who is topping the bill, which typically happens last or close to the end of the event. While you might consider this, it may also be helpful to think of your entire event in the same way that you would consider a single presentation. Create a story arc that ultimately underlines your calls to action more effectively or helps you train your audience in sequence. One of the main benefits of online events is the ability to include presenters from around the world in a way that would not be possible if they had to travel to your event at an in-person location. There are a number of effective softwares and simple templates available to help you manage your minute-by-minute run sheet for the event. Just be aware that despite all of your careful planning, many, maybe most, run sheets won't go exactly as planned, especially if you're broadcasting significant portions of your event live. Broadcasting your event live has many exciting and important psychological benefits, of which I love, but predictability isn't one of those benefits. It's important to plan for the unexpected in your run sheet. Allowing for the unpredictable in your online schedule is something that you should be aware of. Sardius gives you the ability to create very complex event schedules ahead of time, which you will need to do. However, if you have the unexpected changes to your schedule at the last minute, you need to ensure that you are hosting your event on a platform that allows you to make last-minute changes, rather than the event being significantly cached on the attendee's machine. Sardius allows you to make those last-minute changes and work them seamlessly into the flow of your event. Now let's turn to the video production of the event. Typically for an in-person and a hybrid event, it's recognized that video production must be of a certain quality level. The same realization is not always recognized with exclusively online events. With the proliferation of video conferencing platforms, video quality often isn't given as much thought until the audience is struggling trying to follow a presenter who has filmed his presentation on his mobile phone with bad video and audio. And when we speak of video production quality, we're speaking of video camera quality, audio quality, lighting quality, background quality, and finally, broadcasting quality. Often with online events, the event producer is having to deal with presenters from diverse geographical locations. In the past, may have only been the preserve of outside broadcasts on newscasts of election coverage. Without having to produce full-on TV quality, here are a few suggestions to produce the best quality video for your event and mitigate against some of the inherent risks. Number 1, obtain essential